recording has started. So then let me go on and share the screen. Uh, okay. Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the HPA Weekly today. So, I don't, I don't have much to discuss, but whatever less I have is, in my opinion, very, very important. Right. Good evening, Sham. So whatever I have is, in my opinion, very important to discuss. So we did not have a great week, and that is very evident from Nifty 50, which has been in a downtrend. I mean, not downtrend as such, but in a correction mode since some time. And similarly, we also have the Nifty 500, which is the index of my choice, or the index which I like to refer much, is also similar trajectory. Okay, so first of all, let me I am clearly audible to you all, right? And also my share screen is audible, right?
Yeah, it is.
Great, great, thanks. So what I wanted to discuss is, do some sort of anticipation in the sense ki what's going to happen in the coming weeks, months, or I mean, months is too much, but at least what we can look forward to in the next week or so, right? So basically, whenever you ask that question, you ask by saying what is the market doing right now, right? And any chart can only do one of two things. It can either be on a trend, and that can be an uptrend or a downtrend, and the second thing, it can be basing, right? So right now, what the market is doing in India, in our markets are right now basing. So whenever basing means basically a sideways movement. So sideways movement always needs to we can always give an upper pivot and a lower pivot whenever we talk of basing, right? So in this case, our pivots are 1700, and the lower pivots are 16,6 something something, right? So these are the two pivots inside which the market has been in last 2 3 weeks. Now the market can either right now it's at the support, so the markets can sort of reverse, and there is another resistance, which is the downtrending line, which now has two touch points, and that's why the third one is pretty likely, and then maybe again come back here, and then we don't know. So this is definitely a possibility, and then we will have a breakout, and then once that breakout happens, after some days, we might again have a resistance at the previous all-time high, and then the point I'm trying to make is we don't know, right? We only can sort of anticipate कि ये bounce आएगा या it is going to break down, something like this. Um, so so basically two possibilities. If this guy breaks down, right, so that means that we might, that there is a very high possibility that we might start to go on to a longer term sort of downtrend, because right now we are still not in a downtrend will start once we break this previous low. Okay, so the previous low, right now the low which we have and the previous low is actually at the same place. So basically it's basing. The moment we get a new low which is lower than the previous low, we are now starting in a nascent downtrend. So downtrend भी नहीं है अभी market में, right? So my own so what I would like to so my own I have actually, so my own trading, what's happened is basically uh, what the the idea the ideal thing to do would be, uh, so the question is when to be in the market, right? So the best time to be in the market is when the market is in an uptrend. So we started making positions around here, and we are here right now, right? So whatever you made here, when you are here, 20%, 30, 40, 50, 100, whatever, the the hope, or not hope, the your your aim should be to not give much back, right? So that is why my that the same, I also have the similar aim. And I am happy that when this sort of action, sideways action or a little bit of downtrend action is happening, I haven't actually given back anything which I made. In fact, PF is slightly up since this downtrend has begun, right? So I am actually very happy with how things are going with me. But the moment the breakdown comes in here, I am going to liquidate at least 60 to 70% of my portfolio. And that is purely an exercise wherein I am saying that, hey, market, I have done well, and I'm not going to give it back to you, right? So that is my personal strategy, at least what I have thought, right? I mean, how much I'm able to implement that and not is a separate question. But at least we need to strategize, is what I'm saying. So similar strategy you should also be planning, ki how much you are already in. I mean, believe it or not, I am actually very highly exposed right now in the market, because I started to, so this is a word which I use. Basically it's called de-risking, right? So de-risking money ki you have a very less exposure to the market, and b, even if you have more exposure, or even if you're invested in stock, you put your stop losses in such a way that you don't give back much. So that's basically what we mean by de-risking. So whenever this started, we already started de-risking, I think here, and when the lower high appeared, I was almost like 50% only invested. So whenever this sort of action came, and then I started to get back in. Some of the positions worked, some of the positions actually backfired really badly. And you also know the names are like EQO, Avalon, and Prechem. These are the three major ones which has backfired, and some of them have worked as well, right? So uh, right. So we now, the thing is, we do not know key on Monday it is going to break down, or it is going to bounce, right? So always, my view generally always is bullish, and I still think that the market is probably going to bounce. Why I'm telling you that is because today's candle was so today's candle was okay, maybe not so much, but so I'm not coherent. Sorry about that. But so that is basically the key level which I wanted to discuss. The only level we are going to watch out is this, right? And if you see the monstrosity as well, right now we are at a super trend 10-3 level, and as you guys have already seen multiple times, I have also depicted that whenever we are on a trend, the general market as well as any other stock which is on an uptrend, it generally finds support at 10.2 or 10.3. So this particular down leg was sort of supported by 10.2 as well, and then 10.3, then it got the bounce, and right now we are at 10.3, right? So what might happen, worst case, like worst case for me at least, if this breakdown happens and I liquidate all my positions, that 50-day moving average might again get in as a support. So that is also one valid scenario, and that would be sort of like a shakeout action in the market, right? Because right now a lot of traders, investors are actually eyeing this level, right? In so so now, what I would like to discuss today is something called advanced decline line, right? So, advanced decline line is something which I use, or many traders use to gauge the breadth of the market. So sometimes what happens is that, hey, a Nifty 50 is just 50 stocks, right? So by looking at 50 stocks, you sort of do not know, uh, you cannot infer about the entirety of the market, right? So that is the disadvantage of using or looking at an index. Now Nifty 500 is a little better one because Nifty 500 is consists of 500 stocks, but it still doesn't take into account the action of other stocks, which is basically 2000 stocks in NSE. And if you add the BSE, then you have more stocks, right? So that's why breadth indicators are indicators or data which takes into account um, uh, the whole entirety of the market, right? So one such indicator is AD line. AD line is basically advanced decline line. So uh, advances is basically number of stocks which closed higher than yesterday's close, right? So yesterday close 100, आज का close anywhere above 100, so we'll have that as advance. And decline is again basically whatever close below yesterday's close. So 100 से नीचे हुआ तो this one. So now logically, if the number of advances are higher than the number of declines, what we have is we have a bullish momentum, right? So that's very logical. So that's what we plot here. So but what we plot is we don't plot a 1 day का advance decline. मतलब total number of stocks which were advancing as compared to yesterday's close. What we can do is tweak it slightly and say how many stocks closed above closest 20 day ago. So that's this data, AD line for 20 day. And AD line for 50 days again, like similarly 50 day ago kitne stocks the which were advancing and declining. So that's the data. Okay, so I will quickly show you what it is. So basically group count means total count latest close greater than 20 day ago close minus group count close total close less than 20 day ago close, right? So then we do this in terms of percentage, and then this is the curve we get. So quickly what I'll show you is how advanced decline line can also give you just a minute. So here, so this is like a CNX 500 plot. It's not exact the values, but the curve is similar. And then on below you have 20-day AD line. So you can see that in general, this is how to read this plot, right? Whenever the plot is positive, you are in a bullish territory. Whenever the plot is negative, you are in a plot is AD line is negative, you are in a negative territory. So in this case, you see on July 8, 2020, it became from negative to positive, and similar time also CNX started this short bull run or so, right, for 2-3 months. And then it went to bearish, it went bearish here, and then slightly sort of in a consolidation way, and then bearish, and then from April 13 when AD line went to a bullish territory, and then our markets also. So right now where we are is this 20-day AD line is about at just about bullish, matlab just about bullish, right? So when the 20 line AD pierces below 0, which means it becomes negative, then we know that hey, last 20 days tak ye bearishness or the consolidation movement has been persisting, and now it has started to go to a negative territory. So this is the time where you put a break to your trading, right? अभी तक हुआ नहीं है. Similarly, if you see the 50-day this one here, it is still very much above. So 50-day का अगर आप देखोगे तो then you will have a longer term time frame. 200-day का देखोगे तो ultra long term time frame. So for me or for many of you guys who are sort of swing traders, I think best time frame for us is the 20-day. So I don't see this much, but again from here what you can see is that it has
Prakash,
made
are you sharing your screen?
I am.
Okay. There is some issue at
Okay. Is it fixed? You might want to get out and get in again.
Yeah, okay.
So I'll wait for 10 seconds.
Okay.
Great. So So basically what I was saying is that the AD line is right now at the touch and go territory. मतलब बुल इधर से रिवर्स मार सकता है, and that would also sort of coincide with the indices reversing, and if that guy goes down, then we are in a slightly starting to be in a bearish territory now. Why the main advantage of this breadth indicators is that you can, depending upon slight what is that word, divergences, you can actually see uh, कि this is a shakeout or a reversal is coming in, right? So I will probably try to point something like that here, which is okay. So now what I have been doing is that I have also been looking at AD line in three different time frames. One is the 1 minute time frame. So intraday also I sort of see bullishness and bearishness, how it is moving on here. And these two is basically the daily AD line, but in a different resolution. So this is the 5 minute resolution and this is the 75 minute resolution. Okay. So now here, so you see August 2nd, August 14, and today, August 18. Okay, so let's see what CNX. So these are the three peaks. So August 2nd is this one. Then we have 14, and then we have 18. Okay, so now you see what's happening here is that we have a higher high. So August 2 ka low is actually the very bearish low, and then we have August 14 का लो which is actually higher low, माने कि यहाँ पे ये इतना ज़्यादा bearish नहीं था, but what's happening in the index is that it's actually making a lower low. So we know that this guy was actually sort of a shakeout which was not supported by a massive bearish action, and the bearish action here was lesser than this. So then we like a bounce was smaller bounce, albeit was expected. So this kind of divergence data is more useful rather than just saying कि bearish आएगा वो या bullish आएगा, because bearish bullish तो already आपको sort of Nifty 500 से पता चल जाता है more or less, right? And the example I gave here is in a very small term, short term time frame, but this sort of bearish divergences or bullish divergences can also be seen in a higher time frame data. So I do not have it exactly right now, but these are the small observation I am just trying to make, and I will have more solidified view on how to use this. But whatever I know till now, or I have developed till now, is coming out on an article tomorrow. For people who do not know, I write a weekly article for the technical take. Go and check out. It's free for everyone. I am not asking any money, or neither will I ask for that. That is something which I really love to write about, and so it's going to be free always. But please do check out, because I really think that is going to change your thinking about the markets. It's very simple. There are although I use jargons, but I try to simplify them as deadly as possible, right? So yeah. So in and an AD line is just one example of what I use to gauge the breadth. HPA members, I am going to share this very soon with you guys. And so yeah, this is something I will be looking very closely. Another example. So if you see the 20-day AD line, you saw that March 3 and June 21 there was a lower high. Now you see what these guys did. These guys did a higher high, right? So you knew that this was a bearish divergence. माने कि although Nifty 500 was making a higher high, we knew that the breadth was actually not supporting that higher high. So then this sort of an action was already sort of this fall, or the impending correction which we were clamoring about in the market, in Twitter ki are aega. People were saying that this were exhaustion gaps and all. So those thing was more visible here, and that is why also that is where also we started to become more cautious in the market. So and that was something which I wanted to discuss. Key levels I have already discussed. Yeah, some one of the guys had a question. So Abhay had a question that why what contraction is the last contraction, or okay. So I'm changing gears here. Advanced decline khatam. Now let's talk about a question which Abhay asked for from HPA. Is the question is what contraction is last contraction, or how to know about that the base has contracted enough to start the new leg? Do we also consider the number of days while looking at the tight areas within the base? This is a very good question, Abhay, and thanks for asking this. The long answer is let's get to the short answers first. The short answer is that we do not know which is the last contraction. Okay, uh, but probabilistically, if and when you have the third contraction, the probability of a breakout or breakdown becomes very high. Let's say once a third contraction comes, 7 out of 10 contraction will break out or break down, right? So making this very clear, that 70% of the stocks break out after third contraction. So in that case, that is why also in many of my setups, I in mostly the anticipation ones, what I do is I start to anticipate at the base of the third T, and you will also see more in the group. A lot of the setup which I discuss is also the 3T base of the 3T, right? Um, the recent, not recent, but Newland Lab was a 3T base. This one. Now, why what comes to last, or how do you know how to know that base is contracted enough? Yes, so this is a very good question. Now, how to know that the base is contracted enough? Any contraction which is now in single digits, okay, so single digit means below 10%, is a good time to start thinking about that the breakout might come. Okay, I'll give you a very good example which I discussed last week in the group as well. Do we also consider number of days while looking at tight areas within the base? Yes, we do consider the number of days. Generally, this number of days thingy is very personal to different people, right? But now I'll tell you the logic. Now, if you are sort of a positional guy and wants to get in a stock to ride it for at least month or two, then it's better for you to get in a base breakout which is more than 2 or 3 months long. Okay, so bigger the base, bigger the or longer the move, right? So but if you're a swing trader, if even if you have a 20-day base or a 1 month base, 15, 10, 20-day base, and depending upon the if the stock is very strong, you will do fine, because आपको ऐसे ही for 3 or 5 days ही रहना है, right? And after that you are gonna go. I'll also give you an example of this, what I'm trying to say. So yes, bigger the base is better. Now bigger the base is also better. Why? Because you know that uh, base breakouts from bigger bases, bases which has a more number of days, tend to generally break out successfully. And also bigger base breakouts are bigger bases are primary bases, right? So primary bases breakout ke baad, then it moves on and then it makes secondary bases. Secondary bases are generally smaller, and secondary bases ke baad the move also becomes lesser and lesser. Make this observation, you will find a lot of stocks which are doing what I just said. Okay, so I hope that answers the question. Now let's go to some examples of whatever I said, right? So the first example I'm going to give you is GMRP pui pui, right? So here, this is exactly what I showed you, is that I think GMR Pui was on this day, uh, 16th or 15th, yeah, probably on this day. And I said that this anticipation that GMR Pui has contracted 3T. So first one was minus 19. Second one was, just a minute, I will take this off. Yeah, so minus 19, minus 15, minus 9, right? So now देखो 3T हो गया, 3T के बाद already you know that 7 out of 10 contractions sort of break out or break down. So we are already close to that breakdown point. Uh, After this, then we had this sort of a bullish day, and we had some supply. Now, at best, this was what I anticipated कि at best एक 6% वाला एक आएगा, contraction आएगा, and then we will have a breakout or breakdown. So that actually came on this day. So after this, there was an inside bar here, and if you see that this contraction was actually not bad. So -5. Now another thing you need to observe in Minervini T's or the contraction is that the subsequent contraction is generally between 40% to 60%, and that amount of contraction is actually really good, and it seems to be constructive. If a contraction is not between 40 to 60%, it's either high or it's low. Let's say the second contraction is just 20%, so that contraction is actually not ideal, because वो contraction के बाद breakout नहीं होके we might actually make a bigger contraction. Let me know if you did not understand what I'm saying. Okay, I will give you specific examples to depict. So now this was the fourth contraction. uh, okay, color दूसरा है, and then in my opinion we have a breakout in GMR Pui Pui, which is like sort of early breakout. Now the actual there is still a resistance here, and you will see that resistance when I go to a weekly time frame, and you see this is a very nice resistance. One touch, two touch, three touch, and this is the fourth one. I am very much looking forward to this base breakout, right? And yeah, the next resistance is probably at 38, and then next one at 48, and after that, like, there is blue sky territory. Actually there is not much resistance. Yeah, actually there's not much resistance. Anyways, so this is one example. The second example I wanted to show you, do we also consider number of days while looking at tight areas within the base? Yeah, we do. Okay, before that, a similar example I want to make in Shankara. So देखो शंकरा में क्या है, शंकरा let's see in weekly, right? So weekly में, just a minute. Not on weekly. See the so Shankara, this is a very nice base breakout का example, right? So this Shankara is a primary base. Primary base माने कि this small right side of the base is already a part of a very big base, which is this. So like I said, if this base was here, so that would have been a secondary base. So this was a very high quality setup, because the base itself was a giant base. Matlab, this is how long this base was. This was almost 519 days long, right? That is like I think 2 years, 1.5 years or so, right? So this is a very long base, and this base also on a daily time frame was also a very big base. Uh, yeah, almost more than 2 months. So always whenever you are sort of trying to get in a new position, which you like to hold for longer time frame, then always it's better to make an entry here, right? Now another example of what's a secondary base would be probably on Newland. तो न्यूलैंड में अगर आप देखिए, तो न्यूलैंड में दिस बेस वाज अ प्राइमरी बेस. ओके, दिस बेस ब्रेकआउट वाज अ प्राइमरी बेस ब्रेकआउट. आई मीन on a longer time frame we are still at a primary base breakout. So on a weekly time frame, this breakout from the previous high here, uh, so this is the saucer breakout, or let's say cup and the small handle which is sloping up. So this is a primary base breakout, right, on a weekly time frame. But on a daily time frame, this would be sort of a secondary base, and this would be the primary one, right? Yeah, so this one would be the primary, the handle of the primary base. So I don't want to confuse you much and say more than what you've asked. So I'll stop here and let's move on. How are we doing with time? It's 8:30. Difference. How do I enter a stock? Okay, on similar lines, what I would also want to discuss is so today Mihir asked. So we people know that I've been eyeing Federal Bank, right? So let me give you an example of two banks here and compare and contrast between them. Okay, so why Federal Bank and why not the other bank which Mihir is interested, let's say, and that other bank is IDFC First. Now, IDFC First is a very good base, but it is a secondary base for me, right? So the primary base already was this. Now you see why this was a primary base, because IDFC First was in a very big sort of downtrend, or you can say there's a cup and a handle, doesn't matter. Basically, it's a very big base which was like 7 or 8 years long, and udhar se ye breakout hua, right? And generally this big base breakout is called a primary base, as already discussed. But if you see on a weekly on a daily chart, after this base breakout we had like very nice higher high, higher low, higher higher low, and then we had a small basing structure here. Again the base breakout again happened on this day, and after that it has been again putting a very nice, very solid consolidation. Now very high chances that once the market is okay, IDFC First Bank will start its momentum burst. Okay, and even when that happens, that is a valid entry for the kind of trading I do as well. But given a chance between this bank and Federal Bank, why I did not choose this is because of the market condition. Market conditions are not suitable to buy a breakout from an extended base, at least for right now. And that's why although in my opinion I saw that banks were sort of keen to reverse, I chose Federal Bank, because Federal Bank for me is a structure, is a name which is low risk. अब low risk का है? Low risk ऐसा because it is just going to break out from a bigger primary base, right? So IDFC First Bank 6 months पहले was looking like this. 6 months, or I don't know how long, 3 months back. So right now IDFC Bank has already uh, done what Federal Bank is going to do, and is somewhere here. Okay, so that is why now after this, is it going to do more like this or this? No, that I do not know. In from whatever price action I am reading and from whatever market conditions I'm reading, I cannot put a probability which to break out, higher probability to a breakout than a breakdown. That is why that was a pass. And rather, when I saw Federal Bank and a good VCP structure here, so this was, let's say this was one contraction, this is second, this is third, this is fourth, and right now we are at the fifth contraction. Or if you don't want to say that, hey Prakash, this is a higher high, and okay, fine, so one contraction, two contraction, three contraction, and right now it's a fourth contraction. So right now today I entered here, and this is also, so how I entered was yesterday I had a GTT exactly just high on this, right? 135.01, and I had two GTTs actually, and 135.6 or something, in the sense that अगर ये gap up हुआ तो मेरे को थोड़ा ऊपर भी चलेगा बोल के, that was the two GTTs I had placed. But fortunately or unfortunately it did not break out today. But I was continuously watching this on a 30-minute time frame or so. Actually, I will not lie to you. I was watching this on a 5 minutes time frame, and so this is generally as how a cup and handle forms, right? Uh, and this is also an example where I say that markets are fractal. If something which works and which you are looking at one daily time frame, uh, forget time frame, the same structure will also work in any other time frame. So basically this is, eventually it will look like a cup and then maybe an handle and then break out. But right now here was the Minervini low cheat entry. Low cheat entries are entries at the bottom third of the base, and I sort of entered here instead of that GTT, and I'm carrying some quantity. I entered in a large quantity, sold 1/4 and 1/5 I am carrying, and this is essentially a risk-free entry right now, because from whatever intraday gains I have right now, even if sort of it breaks down from this area, I will still be in a profit. So these are some of the tricks which I try to do using intraday. Sometimes it backfires, but sometimes it's good to have. I mean, the hope is that these are some of the tricks I will also develop going forward when I am actually trading full time, so whatever you want to do in 2 3 4 year time, or you should already start doing that so that you get a hang of it. Why am I discussing Federal Bank? Uh, yes, primary base and secondary base and size of the base, right? Okay, 40 minutes. I will open to some questions, but before that, let me discuss the last point which I have is how to enter a stock. Okay, now I'm discussing this because we have a lot of new members in HPA, and many of them are sort of look out for stock. I want a stock, something which will move this and that. So it's very easy for you to find a stock, and it's you have the BBW squeeze. You already know the scanner. You already have the scanner, and all you do is you can also do scan that real time, and on real time what it will give you stocks which are breaking out of a tight area, and basically swing trading. Mm, the number one setup for swing trading is you are trading the start of a momentum, right? So these are today's names. Okay, today was a very bearish day, but still on a bearish day, if you use that breakout scanner, the BBW squeeze scanner, you will still get a lot of names which are breaking out. Okay, now uh, was today a good day to trade breakout? That's a separate question. What I'm showing you is this is how you trade a breakout. I also had written the question, just a minute. CNX 500. Yeah, where is it? Okay, never mind. So yeah, so how do you enter and when do you enter a trade, right? So this is for new HPM members. You just run the BBW squeeze and just go through the names. Now, if you want to, so there are two things which you can do. If you are just swing trader, daily time frame is fine, right? So in a daily time frame you will already see कि अच्छा ये base breakout कितने how many days is the how strong is the base, meaning how compact or how many days are that in the base. So Mukta Arts seems okay. It's a very large base, right? So it's broke out today. So today would have been a good day to enter. Jibril India, this also broke out today. So today would also have been a sort of a good place to enter. And since now we are uh, running the scanner at the end of the day, of course you will get the full move. But if you would run the scanner during the day when this guy was breaking out, you would have gotten the breakout. So basically the trigger is that it ब्रेक्स आउट ऑफ द बॉलिंजर बैंड. सो बॉलिंजर बैंड का ब्रेकआउट तो इधर हो रहा था 234 पे आपको पकड़ा जाता है आपके स्कैनर पे, ठीक है. Kanpur plastic would also have been caught, although this did some squat, but again it's a very nice base breakout. And agar I am very sure, I mean, let me not be overconfident and say that it is going to break out, but it looks good, right? Because it tried to break out here, and then it actually built a long base, And then this is the sort of the second bigger attempt to break out, and it was almost successful, but maybe people chickened out, long weekend, did not want to carry, the general market is so lot of reasons why it would have met some supply here, right? Had our general market been okay, maybe this breakout would have not squat. So you see, again, not many names, 20 such names on a bad day, and you will get anything which is breaking out well. Lemon tree, amazing base, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, इज अ गुड ब्रेकआउट. तो अगर आपको सुबह इस लेवल पे भी मिल जाता ना, 98 96 98 97, this would have been a really great entry, right? So my wish or my request is for you to, run this scanner daily. You could run it at a 920, or you could run it at 320. Pick a time, run a scanner, go through the chart. If you are not sure, then you can put the chart in HPA. People are very active in there, and they will help you out uh, uh, with the setup, right? So this is not a great breakout, because this is a reversal kind of a breakout, but the main base breakout will happen here, right? And if you like something, then you put it on your this one watch list. So this is Adani Trans is another name. You see how the contractions are being played out. Minus 33, minus 18, minus 12, minus 11, minus 4. उसके बाद मैं ट्रैक करना छोड़ दिया, but I'll show you. I'll take questions, folks, or you can just ask, but let me just finish this thread. So उसके बाद you see minus 4 के बाद, so minus 4 के बाद minus 8, so we will delete this. So minus 11 के बाद minus 8. This is what I said, see, right? So उसके बाद minus 7, and then probably now we get the contraction के बाद क्या आता है, what comes after contraction? Expansion. Yeah, so now probably this is the start of the momentum, and I was eyeing Adani Trans like anything today, but just somehow, because of the general market hasn't given me the confirmation that it has reversed. Had I gotten even a small bit of confirmation from other breadth indicators and XYZ, I would have gotten in here, pakka. uh, but because of the general market, I actually did not get in Adani. Also because Adani name is like inherently a little risky, but again, that's fine by me. I never cared about fundamentals, nor would I do in I think going forward. So I will stop here. This is how you sort of enter a breakout and enter the start of a momentum. Okay. Now I will open up for questions. Sachin, go ahead, ask what you have. Anyone else has any questions?
Can you check Zota? Can you check Zota pre-trans?
Hi Sachin, Vikram, I'll take your next and let Sachin ask his.
So in RFC, is the market structure broken?
RFC.
IRFC.
IRFC. No, IRFC is actually really fine. So see, IRFC में क्या हो रहा है? IRFC we have started to base, ठीक है? तो base में what happens in base? Basing will have two pivots. One is the higher pivot and one is the lower pivot. Lower pivot is 44.75. The higher pivot is this. ठीक है?
Okay.
So now, listen carefully what I'm saying. As long as price is between these two levels, you don't have a trade. If you're already in the trade, you can still hold the trade. I am also still holding my trade. As long as price is inside this base, there is no trade. The only trade for longs comes when this guy breaks out above 52.65. And the only legit reason for us to sell or de-risk ourselves would be if it clearly breaks this. Okay, so structure is not broken. I still like the volume pattern which we are which is developing. So the the buying force is getting weaker. Let's say इसमें थोड़ा ज़्यादा volume था, ये दो दिन volume थोड़ा कम हुआ. I mean, the volume is less. Now I am also anticipating a structure like this. Uh, this, right? So here, so what can happen is we might go do something like this. Maybe second time में यहाँ तक नहीं आएगा, mid of the channel तक आ सकता है, or somewhere like this, and then it would look like a VCP. So 1T, 2T, 3T, just like what happened in Newlands. So Newland, what happened? This base was not a horizontal base, right? This was a base which had slightly ascending this one. तो ये 1T आ गया, second T, third T, fourth T, and then breakout on this day and proper follow through on that. So something like that might come in IRFC. We have to wait and watch and see how the patterns morph and what sort of bases they form. It could also happen that slightly यहाँ पे आके you get a shakeout and then it will look like a inverse head and shoulder. In that case, this one will be your shoulder, this will be your head, and then you will have another shoulder and eventually a breakout or maybe breakdown. We don't know, but right now all we know is it's basing. Structure is fine.
I had two stocks. If we can analyze these two stocks, one is Salasar Technology and one is Zota.
So, do you have like? It would be great if you tell me what you think, and then I will tell you if I agree, disagree, or do you have any question regarding that? What is it, Salasar?
Yes, sir.
So what do you want me to tell you about this stock? Like,
It's a base breakout.
yeah,
It's sort of a saucer breakout and another saucer is forming.
yeah,
Today it was on the verge of a breakout, all-time high breakout.
yeah, yeah. So from price volume, it looks really good. ठीक है. So one can call this a cup and handle. We have a prior uptrend. We have a nice cup which is some weeks long. Generally, the guy who called it cup and handle wanted, I think, anywhere from 6 to 30 weeks. This is 31 weeks, so this is a good cup. And then we have a small handle here, and now the handle breakout is they are trying to do a handle breakout. ठीक है, तो Vikram, are you comfortable with Hindi?
Yeah, I'm okay with Hindi also.
या सो बीच बीच में मैं हिंदी बोलूँगा. तो देखिए यहाँ पे क्या हो सकता है अभी. Everything depends on the market condition. Okay, by the way, so till now from price action it looks like a perfect cup and handle. Perfect base, which is a cup and handle. Volumes drying up here, right side of the base, green tower starting to come. Handle may again volume dry up, and then we have volume and then a breakout ka wo. Now the pivot we can draw is this one. This is the all-time high, but again उससे नीचे भी tradable pivot मिल जाता है. And today's high and last 4 week के पहले वाला high 57 rupees is the pivot. इसके ऊपर अगर closing मिला तो that would in my opinion be a confirmation of a breakout, right? Now what can, so that is the ideal thing which the stock should do in a general bullish market conditions or such. Now अभी क्या हो सकता है, there is something called base reset. ठीक है, तो बेस ब्रेकआउट ना होके इफ द स्टॉक डज दिस, then what it will essentially be doing is that it will be breaking the swing low. Now let's go to daily and we will see here. So if this guy breaks this low, that would be a reversal of the whatever trend was happening here, right? So once that happens, what might happen is that it will make a low here, and then go back up and then again form a tight region and then go out. So Minervini calls this a base reset, base failure होके base reset होके फिर से हो सकता है. So that is a very high possibility, and in that case then what you can see that this would be 1T, this would actually be a second T, minus 37, minus 25, and then the third T before the breakout would be like below 8 or 10%. Why I am telling you this might be a possibility, because we don't know on Monday the indices will hold or not, or even if the indices hold or not, if Salazar Techno might actually break out or not. So we don't know. So I'm trying to tell you this is because doing this exercise, knowing what a stock generally does after coming to this point, is very helpful for you to go on and anticipate and विजुअलाइज कि बंदा क्या कर सकता है आगे जाके 58 से 108 कर सकता है कि नहीं, ये तो नीचे भी ये कर सकता है. सो दैट्स वाई लॉन्ग स्टोरी इज व्हाट आई एम ट्रेइंग. व्हाट इज द नेक्स्ट स्टॉक यू वांना
The next one was Zota, ZOTA.
Yeah, so Zota has broken out from a big base. See, this is the O'Neill pivot here. ओनिल पिवट का ब्रेकआउट हो गया. ओनिल पिवट का ब्रेकआउट के लिए इसने एक असेंडिंग चैनल का इस्तेमाल किया, एंड चिक 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 दिस वाज अ वेरी वेरी टाइट एरिया, sort of failed here, came back, and the second time Vijay Prapt. Looks good. What do you want me to say, or what do you want exactly to know about this? This is a good base breakout.
I just wanted to confirm it because today I was seeing all the other hospital stocks also doing well in spite of the fact that the market was coming down. But the hospital stocks were doing well, relatively well, and in the bad market today. So that's what I was trying to confirm, because there are two sectors which hold on even when the markets go down. The sector rotation takes place. And some sectors are resilient and they go on stronger as compared to other sectors. I personally feel a hospital is one of them.
Yeah, let's look at hospitals, man. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So the worst was 4%, Lotus I, and the best was 12%, Agarwal I. I mean, I don't see much of a, yeah, you can say Krishna, Esther, these guys are doing well. Yeah, but again ऐसा भी नहीं है कि like hugely relative strength दिखा रहा है hospital sector. I mean, at least today we might want to see last 10 day का data. uh, no, I don't agree. I mean, they are okay. They're just like other names only. But yeah, Zota has had a good breakout and is still holding really well as compared to the general market. And you can already see from this time period, it sort of started to outperform the market, and that is evident from the relative strength line.
See, the volume was today, past 3-4 days, the volume is also building.
Yeah, so which means that, like, institutions have started loving this guy back, and this would be a very good name for you to, or not for you, for some, if someone wants to hold it for a longer period of time. Positionally, these are the places where your entry should be. So yeah, very very good stock in my opinion. Okay, anyone else got any questions? um,
Prakash, I have one question.
Hi Abhay, shoot.
Yes. Yeah, so regarding these, I saw we are only buying mostly focusing on the tight areas. So, at what point we should look at the tight areas? Like, once I give one example and elaborate my question, can you open mankind?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah. So now it was, if you see this particular area which is tightening, so is
This
it
one.
becomes a, yeah, inside this base there is a one tight area,
This one.
yeah, this one.
Huh.
So does it make sense to buy these kind of areas in a base?
Yes, very good question, Abhay. I love you for asking this. Now, hear what I have to say, right? Thanks. You are done?
Yes, I
Okay.
mean there is one more example, like you shared Hind copper, so maybe we can take that example also.
I did not share Hind Copper. When did I share Hind Copper?
Today I think in copper you asked like
Some
it is
guy
a
asked.
pullback ended.
Yeah, I mean not some guy. Some person in the group asked.
Oh, okay, okay.
And yeah, I generally don't like metal names and this. Is Hind Copper a large cap?
Don't know.
Yeah, anyways, leave it. So let's get to that as well, but first let me tell my view here. Okay, so एक तो you are right that this is a very tight area, and 1 2 3 4 and today is the 5th day of this small tight area. अगर आप पहले दो को ले लेते हो तो उसको भी मान के चलते हैं, so 6 7 day tight area is actually a good tightness फॉर समवन हु इज़ अ स्विंग ट्रेडर, ठीक है, जिसको 5 10 15% इज़ इनफ फॉर हिम इन अ ट्रेड. सो फॉर दैट इज़ अ डिसेंट एरिया, मतलब भोकाल टाइट भी नहीं बोलूँगा. Like for example, this was a very good tight area, because if you see how many days this tightness was, 20 day, 13 bars, right? So 13 15 to 20 days is a good area for a tightness trader. People like let's say Ankur Patel, uh, those guys actually they trade these kind of setups, right? Short period, 3 4 दिन में लेके निकल जाते हैं. Now you see for this is touch and go, मतलब ठीक है, 3 4 days is tight. तो if your trade, this one is not, you don't want to hold it for a long period of time, 3 5 days के लिए this is a good. Now you see what might happen, ठीक है. तो right now what's happening, it's basing. तो basing तो फिर higher pivot है ये, लोअर पिवट है ये. तो अब यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, कॉन्ट्रैक्शन हो रहा है. मिनर्विनी टीज ढूंढेंगे अभी. दिस इज द फर्स्ट टी, ठीक है. अभय, यू फॉलोइंग मी?
Yes, Prakash.
या, सो दिस इज -11 -10, ठीक है. दिस इज ओके. आई मीन डेफिनेटली देर इज कॉन्ट्रैक्शन, बट दिस इज नॉट एन आइडियल कॉन्ट्रैक्शन, ठीक है. आइडियल कॉन्ट्रैक्शन में इसको -7 -11 का 60% कितना होगा, अराउंड -7. तो यहाँ से अगर घुस, तो अभी जाके व्हाट इट माइट डू इज दैट बिफोर actually breaking out, what it could do is it could go back here and then go for a third T, ठीक है. इवेंचुअली ब्रेकिंग आउट 4T हो सकता है, एक दिन का एक छोटा सा इनसाइड बार आ सकता है इधर. सो नाउ यू हैव टू आस्क योर सेल्फ, is this a good setup if you want to carry this guy for 3 days, more than 3 or 5 days? Because आप इधर पे खरीदोगे इसको, बराबर, ये जाके 5% 10% देके फिर आके ये 30 बनाएगा, राइट. सो देन आफ्टर 10 days or so your position is still at break even or slightly negative. So that is the possibility. So that is why this is from now coming from the second T. This is why a better place to enter would be, let's say यहाँ पे गया and then it then came back and made a 3T. This would be a slightly better place. So tightness, fine, tightness is tightness, but tightness in the context of where that tightness is happening is uber important for long term success, right? Because tightness तो आप कहीं पे भी आप कर लोगे. After a long downtrend there is a tightness, you bought there but then it didn't break out, it broke down. So tightness should be seen in the context of a larger whatever happening is in the base, or whatever happening in terms of the trend. So that is why, although this is a tight area, this is a buyable area, I wouldn't trade this at this point of time. Now I forgot what I had to say. Okay, Hind copper दिखाते हैं. So Hind copper में
Futures.
अच्छा sorry, Hind copper, Hindustan copper.
So
हाँ.
yeah, here question is like, suppose now it give more inside parts, so then this also becomes
This
one.
is, yeah, so this
Yeah.
is first of all, this is not a,
Hmm.
at least for a swing trading, this is not a mature tight area. मतलब
Hmm.
एटलीस्ट 3 या 4 दिन का देता तो देन यू हैव अ स्ट्रॉन्ग सॉर्ट ऑफ अ बेस फाउंडेशन, राइट?
Hmm. Right.
So what we talked about in 30 minutes ago कि बड़ा बेस होने से then you have more of a probability that the up move will last longer, whereas a smaller base, same फंडा इधर भी आएगा. 2 दिन का inside bar is not a very strong base, right? So if this now becomes 3 or 4 5, then we can at least think कि अच्छा, we can consider this. But see the context here, right? Now would you trade Hindustan copper? अभी कॉन्टेक्स्ट मैं समझाता हूँ आपको, और नॉट समझाता हूँ, दिस माई इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ द कॉन्टेक्स्ट, राइट? सो आफ्टर दिस अप मूव देयर वाज अ ह्यूज ये एरिया, टाइट एरिया, ठीक है? तो ये टाइट एरिया वाज ऑलरेडी लिटिल कंस्ट्रक्टिव. वाई? बिकॉज दिस टाइट एरिया वाज एन असेंडिंग चैनल. तो टाइट एरिया विथ अ स्लाइटली हायर स्लोप इज एक्चुअली वेरी बुलिश, ठीक है? उसके बाद एक्चुअल ब्रेकआउट आया. नाउ यू सी ब्रेकआउट के बाद अनदर टाइट एरिया, another tight area, but this tight ascending area did not break out, rather on result it broke down, ठीक है? Now what is the next possibility? ठीक है, next possibility क्या होएगा इस पे? It sort of gets tight for some more days and does this or does this, right? Now you have to ask, can you assign probabilities of event 1 happening versus event 2 happening? तो अगर 50% से ज़्यादा आप probability event 1 happening को दे सकते हैं, then this is setup you need to track. If not, then why to track that setup? ऑलरेडी आपको एक नेगेटिव पॉइंट दिख रहा है कि भाई साहब ने रिजल्ट पे हक दिया, राइट? तो ऑलरेडी आई एम सॉर्ट ऑफ लिटिल नॉट बुलिश ऑन दिस सेटअप. कितना भी टाइटनेस आ जाए, कितना भी जो कुछ भी आ जाए, यू नो. सो the only thing right now is in his favor is it is at a place where generally 7 out of 10 stocks find support, which is the 10-3, ठीक है? 10-21, this is the only thing which is working in favor of Hindustan copper. But this gap down is, in my opinion, working against it. Now I still do not have much to add on to this. I will have to now track कि next जब breakout आएगा तो उसमें अब मेरे को वॉल्यूम देखना पड़ेगा. नेक्स्ट अगर 2 दिन टाइट होएगा तो उसमें भी मेरे को वॉल्यूम देखना पड़ेगा. यू नो, ऑल दोज थिंग्स विल एड मोर टू माई रीडिंग ऑफ हिंदुस्तान कॉपर. आगे जाके इवेंट ए करेगा या इवेंट बी करेगा, राइट? राइट नाउ इट्स वेरी प्रीमेच्योर फॉर मी टू टेक ए डिसीजन कि भाई ये टाइट एरिया सेटअप ट्रैक करने के लायक है या नहीं. So I hope your questions on the
Yes.
on tightness a little clear now.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, folks. Anything else? Sachin, you have more questions?
No, no.
Okay. आपका हाथ खड़ा है इधर तो.
Oh, sorry.
Hi Mayank, please go ahead with your question.
Hi Prakash.
Hello.
Hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are clearly.
So Prakash, my question is, considering there are so many breakout options available
Right.
in the market right now, could you help me summarize how would you select a specific stock breakout over another stock breakout?
Yes, very good question.
Something which is so concrete that
Right.
it has high probability that I'm going to get some kind of a breakout move.
Right. Great question, and I think we've had this question before as well. Uh, so, like I said a minute earlier, whenever let's say there you have 10 different choices, okay? Now you have 10 different choices. You line them up and assign probabilities to each of them. Ki you basically rank them over thus 10 stocks. You rank them ki this has the highest probability and this guy has the lowest probability, right? And then you attack the ones which has the highest probability. Now how do you do that? There's the question. So there are a couple of things which adds higher probability of a stock breaking out. Okay, so the number one thing is, if how long is the base, okay? How
Okay.
long is the base? And basically another way to say that, is it a primary base or not, right? That's number one. uh, yeah, how long is the base, and does the base sort of has an uptrend or not? Actually, uh, so how long is the base? If the base is longer, let's say one out of the 10 stocks, five of them are just 10-day long base, and four of them are like 2 months long base, and there is one which is like a 6 month long base. So I would definitely
Okay.
have the 6 month long base on the topmost ilaka. Okay, so now that's one.
Okay.
The second one is, then I'll look at volumes. So I'll see if volume suggests that the supply has sort of finished. तो सप्लाई फिनिश का क्या मतलब होगा? तो आप बेस इन द बेस यू विल like volatility contraction pattern. In the volatility contraction pattern, how the volume pattern looks like, which is in each contraction the okay, let me open a VCP and just hold on, trying to see some of my stocks. And yeah, so let's say this guy. So in here you can see that in each contraction, uh, the the volumes have been declining. ठीक है? ईयरली में देखते हैं, एक्चुअली ओलेक्ट्रा में देखते हैं. So this was a VCP breakout trade in Olectra, and you can see that in the first, this one, contraction, there were high volumes, and the subsequent contraction the volumes were almost nil. So basically what it means that whoever is selling, and selling ke liye the price is coming back, right? Whoever, how much ever is selling, that supply is very low and is getting exhausted as we move on to the right side of the base. So the second thing you need to see is, first, the size of the base. Second, the volume pattern in the base, which will tell you that supply is getting exhausted. Third is how deep is the base. So anything which is the primary, the first T, anything which is below 25%, the correction is actually well. So if you give me two stocks which has the same length, great volume pattern, one guy the first T was minus 40% and the second one is minus 30, minus 25, I will go with the base which was less corrected, right? Which also shows me that somehow that the supply in the shorter base was less than the supply in the deeper base, right? So that is the length of the base is what I see. And there are other things that you can build up, right? So then if you see that there is a base breakout, everything is similar, only that this base breakout, the price right now at the breakout point is closer to 50 DMA, versus there is another one which is which is away from the 50 DMA, right? So then I will have to look at other cases, but anything which is closer to 50 DMA sort of gives me a sense of higher lower risk. Okay, anything which is, so
Yes,
there are people who only trade setups which is very close to 50 DMA because they love it and it sort of gives them a sense कि ये अब नीचे नहीं जाएगा. So anything close to, because 50 DMA is sort of the institutional level where they accumulate. So Hiren Gabani, many of you probably know on Twitter, that's his setup. That's VCP, and whenever it is very close to the 50 DMA, right? Because that's also gives. So basically, three things to look for is the size of the base, uh, volume pattern, contraction, whatever, which says that supply is absorbed. Third one probably the length, and after all of this is also same, then you can look at, okay, if if a stock is from a sector which is moving as a whole versus a stock is from some sector which is the only guy which is moving, right? So then you can actually stack it up in such a way, work out a system wherein you can now uh, rank them. ठीक है? I think I tried yeah, that's my
No, I
answer.
got,
Yeah.
I understood the gist of it. The only point I want to confirm is, for example, just because there are multiple setups available, would you prefer a setup which is breaking for the first time, or would you prefer which has broken 2-3 times because the sector is doing well?
So what do you mean by breaking first time and breaking 2-3 times?
Break, the first time, I mean, it's a primary breakout. I
Ah,
mean, it would
yeah.
have been in
So
a
I will always
consolidation.
prefer a primary breakout.
Okay, good.
Secondary is fine. So what happens? No. So uh, there is a trade ऑफ यू आर मेकिंग हियर. ठीक है? तो ट्रेड ऑफ क्या है प्राइमरी एंड सेकेंडरी बेस में? द सेकेंड बेस. ओके. तो
Correct.
प्राइमरी बेस में आपको क्या मिलेगा? एक यू विल गेट अ सेंस ऑफ लो रिस्क. ठीक है? एंड यू विल ऑल्सो गेट अ सेंस ऑफ डिसाइसिवनेस कि अगर प्राइमरी बेस ब्रेकआउट से ब्रेकआउट होके वो फिर नीचे चला गया, यू आर वेरी श्योर कि probably this is a failed breakout, right? So you are getting two things. One, you are getting is a low risk, and once it breaks out, you will probably get a longer follow through. But you are also, on the other hand, getting the fact that if it breaks down, then you are very sure that this is a failed breakout. Now what you are getting in the secondary base after the primary base breakout का second, you are getting a sense कि बंदे में strength है. So you are getting that confirmation. You are also, what you are not getting it, if a base breakout fails from the secondary base and comes back, you are also in a limbo कि निकल जाए या रुके, because this already traveled this distance and the base also looks good, right? So there is a lack of decisiveness in the second base, but also in some way giving you a confirmation of the strength. So yeah, I have to think about it. These are some of the thoughts, but I would always go for the primary base breakout.
Correct. So for positional play,
Primary.
I'm just thinking,
Primary.
yeah, primary is much better than the
Yeah,
swing thing.
yeah,
Right?
something like let's say, if was a Shankara. So Shankara is a primary base breakout right now.
Okay.
मतलब ये तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा प्राइमरी, मतलब देख रहे हो आप कितना बड़ा बेस ब्रेकआउट है. Similarly, why I also went for Federal Bank is also it's sort of a primary base breakout. मतलब primary नहीं बोलेंगे, in a longer time frame it's also a secondary base breakout, but it's still like sort of, you know, coming out from a bigger base which is more than 6 months long. Yeah. So that is why I went for this rather than some other stocks. All right,
Understood.
guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mayank, for the questions. Any more questions, guys, or we can say goodbye? All right. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining the session, folks. I wish you all a very happy weekend. Um, yeah. Cheers. See you soon. Bye.